guys, welcome back to Tell Me More. We are about to start part 2 of Black Love. They're a little nervous, so I'm gonna ease them in. It's okay.
All right.
So, what are 3 things that you could tell a couple, and what's something that they should think about when they're planning a wedding or getting ready to get married?
So I know for me, the biggest thing was similar to your mom and dad. My thing was the union. I'll do 2. My thing was the union, and then as well as when it comes to wedding planning, hiring a professional if you need it. So to go back to the union, a lot of people when we first got married, their first question was, when's the wedding?
Oh, yeah.
And for me, my anxious Nelly self,
Oh
that was the last thing that I was thinking about. I was thinking about how are we going to make this marriage work in the long run.
Yes.
And so the first thing that I said that we were going to do was we were going to get into counseling.
Yes.
So we started our premarital counseling, I think, 3-4 months after we got engaged. So that top of 2018 or 2019? 2019. That top of 2019, we decided to do couples counseling, premarital counseling for 1 year and make sure that our union itself is going to be strong to withstand all of the different trials and tribulations that probably are going to come with marriage. So we learned more about like our personalities, the things that we need to work on. I think we're going to talk about a little bit today. One of our biggest things was conflict resolution.
Yes.
And so we learned how to argue better, right? We talked about arguing. So we learned about how to argue better. We learned how to love each other better. We learned more about exactly what he needs in order to feel like he is loved, what I need in order to feel like I am being loved, having that emotional tank be full. So that was the biggest thing. So number 1 would definitely be working on that union because everyone loves a good wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but you have to make sure that the union itself is going to be there. So that's my first piece of advice. Second piece, like I said, I'm an anxious Nelly. And the thought and the idea of a wedding overwhelms me.
Yeah.
And
What part of it overwhelms you?
the fact that there are so many moving parts.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how everyone else, how your audience feels about weddings, but I know for me, I have never been to a wedding in my younger adult ages. So
Okay.
when I was a child, I had never really been to a wedding. My first wedding was one of our good college friends, Alicia. That was my first wedding that I ever been to. And just seeing all of the different things that go into that, I have never been privy to, and I didn't want parts of. Okay.
I wasn't expecting that, but okay.
I knew I didn't want parts of it. I knew the stress that came with it, and I get stressed
lot
very
of stress.
easily. Yes, and I get stressed very, very easily. So that would be the first thing. I finally come to grips that I'm gonna have to drop the bread, but we're gonna have to drop the bread for a planner.
Yes.
And
That's all right, sis.
and it's
I'm
hard.
glad you got to that point so you
Yes.
can move forward.
It's hard
It's stressful.
because it's stressful,
It's
and a
very
lot
stressful.
of people in my Brides on a Budget group means that I'm in.
Yes, ma'am.
They talk about the fact that
Right.
for them, the DIY route is so overwhelming because they don't have anyone helping them, and I knew I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want, no matter what we do, we're still not sure what we're going to do, whether it's not going to be a party or a large wedding. I know I don't want the traditional, and he doesn't really want the traditional route. So we have gone through and found us a good old party planner. No matter what it'll be a party, a wedding, but just a celebration of love that we want it to be.
Right.
I knew that I wasn't going to be able to take it on. Romeo is a great, great partner, but you can let the world know whether or not planning is your forte.
You know, planning is like a C- for me.
Okay.
So you know I can do it, but you know I have to retake the class. So
Great.
And with that being said, that's why we decided to get a
Yes.
professional in
Yes,
here
we
because
did.
I knew that I wasn't going to be able to take that on.
Right.
So for out of the 3 things, I'm going to say the union and then hiring help if you need it.
right.
Hire it. Sometimes it's worth it.
And then the last thing, I think, with your wedding, you have to be realistic. Meaning, what are you when you decide? Oh, I want to have a big church
Yes.
wedding.
I want
and
a
then we're gonna
horse
have
and
a
chariot.
big reception,
doves.
and all of QT9 is gonna be there. That actually used to be one of my goals. I said if I'm getting married, all of QT9.
Oh, absolutely not. I love our
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
But,
But that was
y'all can't
that was
eat
like
on me.
that was like
No,
when I was, you
y'all
know-
can't eat for free.
Yeah,
At
no.
my expense,
No, see,
sweetheart.
see, I
no.
thought I'd be rich, but
You are rich.
I'm rich in love and rich in in health and rich in Jesus. And, you
Come
know,
on. Ooh.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Come on.
Talk
Come
about
on.
it. But yeah, you gotta be realistic. Not everybody in your family can come.
No.
Not everybody in your circle of friends can come.
Unfortunately. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, you just have to be realistic. Sometimes you can't go to the biggest building and do this food, that food, that food, because all of this is priced out. You have to be realistic with your price. You got to be realistic with your location, and you have to be realistic with what you want. I think that's a huge thing for us, because we have a tendency to clash sometimes on a wedding, because I've seen a lot of weddings and I've seen like marriage and different things like that, where she hasn't seen that much. You've seen like a lot of your friends go to the courthouse.
Family go to the courthouse. Keep it simple.
That's it, you know.
And your background is?
I'm Caribbean. I'm from the small island of Antigua.
That's right.
And I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican on my father's side. On my mother's side, I'm Black and Native American. So extravagance is like A1, like in everything. So just kind of learning how to balance well, she's never seen it, to me, like not overwhelming her with what I know and the wealth of knowledge, and just knowing like that might not be what she wants. She might not want
a compromise.
She might not want like the pumpkin chariot and the safari Erica Mena wedding. She might
Their wedding was
beautiful.
That was a beautiful
wedding was
wedding,
lit.
you know. But you got to know your partner, and you got to be realistic with your expectations of the wedding.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. All right, so we have one more. Well, you know what? Let's do conflict resolution first.
Ooh.
All right.
She set us up. We're gonna tell you more.
So we are gonna. So we're gonna start talking about conflict resolution.
Right.
I feel like for me, we're gonna get real. For me, conflict resolution is my downfall in relationships. Point blank, period. Because I don't like to continue to talk about something. I feel like when I tell a guy, this is like, hey, like please don't do that. That hurts my feelings. When they continue to do it, in my head, it's them telling me that they don't want to be here, and you don't care.
And so with that, what happens? Do you shut down? Do you
I shut down, sis.
Okay.
Yeah.
I shut down, and either it depends. If it's been a while, I'll be like, all right, I don't want to do this anymore. Or I'll say, I'll try to talk to them, but if they're not communicating, I'm like, all right, this is done. Like, I'm out. So can you give us an example of how you guys resolve your conflicts?
So I am very similar to you, Deshawna, in the sense of when I am feeling as though Romeo can't hear me, I'm talking. Okay, I'm talking and I'm saying what the issue is, reiterating what the issue is in multiple ways. And I feel like Romeo's not understanding me. I used to shut down. I used to. What the therapy helped us with, what the premarital counseling helped us with, it was that Romeo just needs a little bit more help understanding the way that I think. I cannot expect him to know what I'm thinking. And for me, I'm very short-winded, and so I'm thinking, I said this sentence. Why don't you understand me? What else do I need to say? And I don't like repeating myself. So you have to learn how to bend. And I think that's one thing that we've been working on the most is like he just said, like, okay, make sure she's happy and vice versa. I need to make sure that he's happy. So how can I bend if that means explaining it to him one more time? Even though I really know that that is not me and I don't want to do that, but it will help him get to a point where we're not constantly arguing, we're not constantly having misunderstandings, then I feel like that has helped the most. Like just being able to bend and know that it's first of all going to take work.
It is.
It's going to take work, but you got to be realistic with your partner and setting that expectation. Like, okay, if we're going to argue, let's argue the best way that we can, right? Like, we don't want to be arguing and hurting each other. Thank you, Francis.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
No flyaways. Okay. So make sure that we're not arguing to hurt each other and arguing with the intent to kind of see the destruction of the relationship. So that's one piece of advice that I have. Make sure that you're willing to bend. And if you're not willing to bend to the point in which your partner feels comfortable, especially when it comes to arguments, because arguments are the ones that you said, like, they'll blow up and they'll become something that you really don't want them to be.
You're hurt and everybody's feelings are hurt and
feelings get involved and it becomes a little bit too much. So just make sure that you're able to bend for your partner if you see fit. If you're willing to put in that work and make sure that after that you guys are going to stay together. So just make sure that you bend.
Yeah. I guess my piece of advice would be to tough it out and don't let it go past the day. I know early in our relationships, we used to argue and we'll not speak for like 2-3 days because we don't necessarily know where we stand. And Jenel was a little more like, oh, well, you know, shit. You know that northern kind of thing? Like, you know, like I don't need the, you know, independent woman. Bye.
I can find someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not true.
You know, it's
you can't
not.
find the same person.
So for me, I had to understand that, well, I gotta do better at taking myself out of it, which I still struggle with. I'm not gonna lie. I think you can. Attest.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, you know, like taking myself out of it, and not letting it go past like a day. I think it's so important. Like giving the time and the energy to show that you really care about the situation is what I think is important to the other party, because if they see that you're taking it, you know, seriously, they're gonna want to be a little more cooperative. I think you also just have to not get mean, and you have to not get aggressive, you know, and that's hard. That's real hard. I know they said I'm from the South. We tend to get aggressive off of principle. So I understand that I did this and I understand that you did this, but the principle of the matter is XYZ, and we focus so hard that we don't necessarily recognize.
And I want to pause you there because you're saying a lot and it's great.
Right.
2 things. First thing was selflessness, right? And so, like he just said, in the South, that's how they deal with issues, right? Principle. But the biggest thing for us was that you need to be able to address what I'm talking about right now. And that is something that I think a lot of couples can work through, is understanding that, yes, you guys are both different. Yes, you guys grew up on different things. But what does your partner need in order to actually come to some sort of resolve? Right? Because you're focused on the principles. And I'm talking about the fact that you didn't wash the dishes and you don't help me wash dishes. The principle is not that's an example. Yes, that's an example. He does some dishes, okay? But that's not what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the fact that quote unquote, if that was his ideal, it's not his ideal, but if his ideal is a woman should be washing the dishes. But my ideal is that I need the dishes to be washed because I'm working late or something like that. That is how you can help me. Then please hear me out, right? And understand what I'm saying. And then try to bend a little bit. Be selfless. Take yourself out of it. Ooh. That's give an example of what selflessness, the one example that you just mentioned.
Do you think that that's what makes it, you know how people say like, oh, a lot of bend and give in relationships? Do you think the selflessness is what you have to continue to remind yourself?
Yeah. It's really, selflessness is one of the hardest things to do because we're in an age now we hear love yourself. You know, take care of yourself. You know, everything is. Do you know yourself? Everything is about you. You can accomplish this. You can accomplish that. Which you can. But the relationship challenge is to be able to love yourself and love the other person.
That's what I'm learning. See, that's my challenge. I can definitely say that's a challenge for me because it's like, all right, I have to think about somebody else. Yeah. I do. I do it for a while, and I'm like, oh, I still gotta do this.
Because this is the age where it's supposed to be about us.
It is.
This is if you guys don't know, I don't mind telling my age. I just turned 25.
Right, and I'm 25 as well.
Oh, I'm 25 too, so.
Okay. So the 20-somethings.
Yes.
This is the age that we're supposed to be like finding ourselves, what we want to be known for in the world.
Yeah.
And then you be like, okay, I got to tack on a person with those as well.
Yeah.
You gotta and that is a hard realization, I think, for a lot of people who are in relationships at our age. Is like, I can actually do this by myself, and I don't need you.
But you
to do
do.
this.
I feel like we do need. I think partnership is so important because when you're low, that person can support you. You have that person you can confide in, safe. I still think you need.
But you have to have that mindset.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
You gotta
autonomy.
have that mindset.
Autonomy can happen, and you can have autonomy, but now you have to figure out the other person's autonomy and figure out how can we take our autonomies and tie them together. Because once you tie them together, your business is her business.
That's
That's true.
Your house is her house.
Come on.
The
You know,
oneness
like
that
the
you always
one-
talk about.
You know.
Yeah.
Come on.
And,
Come on.
And even if you don't see it, the government gonna make you see it anyway when you file them taxes.
But that's a blessing. You guys get a tax write-off.
Exactly, but
We're not there
you
yet.
know,
You're gonna teach us how to understand that.
yeah.
Woo, child, I'm gonna send you to a tax preparer.
Yeah.
I do budgeting.
But that's the biggest thing is understanding
Yeah.
that at the end of the day, even though you're in a conflict, even though you're having a tiff, as you like to call it,
Tips.
you're still one person.
Yeah.
You're still one person.
And I'm often reminded of I don't know if you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta before they broke
That's
up.
my favorite.
Before they
Favorite
broke up.
Who broke up?
Kenya and
Mark.
Mark. But before that, Mark stressed.
Allegedly, they're broken up. Their
Allegedly.
divorce is not final.
You know
Oh,
that.
it's not.
Oh. Well,
He filed. It doesn't mean it's done.
well, we think it's for TV anyway.
Yeah.
But he said something very important. Like, we're a team. You know, it's not a I effort anymore. You're not running by yourself. You're running with a person next to you. And sometimes that person is gonna fall. So you gotta go back, pick the person up, put them on your shoulder, and keep running until they're ready to run again. And they should be able to do the same for you as well, which is hard.
It's hard.
Very, very, very hard.
Especially when you feel like you can do it without.
Mm-hmm. But you learn.
And you make that choice.
Yeah, it's all a choice. And if that's the choice that you really want, you gotta work. You know, y'all keep getting in these relationships thinking, oh, we gonna love each other and watch movies and eat popcorn, do all the stuff, but it's more than that.
Yeah.
It's really more.
Okay, black man.
Yeah, no.
You better.
No, it's real. It's real.
I'm
It's
sorry, we're all
definitely-
looking at it. The little puppy behind us.
Named Corduroy.
Corduroy. Oh, he's coming down.
Oh, look at him.
friend.
Come here.
Oh.
Does he want to be on camera?
I don't know.
Oh no.
Pretty little thing.
Where'd he go? Oh, look at Jenel.
Oh, Janelle's the cutest.
I'm trying to be a dog mom.
Say
Oh,
hi.
well, hey, what's up?
Oh.
Okay.
Come here, man.
Okay, we're gonna hit those last questions.
So that Deshawna can take him out.
Yes. Don't be on my leg.
What is one thing you love and admire about each other? Love and admire
Love and admire.
about each other.
I know for me, I admire Romeo's resilience. I think he goes through a lot of different things, especially at this age. He's gone through a lot for a 25-year-old.
Yeah,
Like a lot of ups and downs in life, and he has remained extremely resilient. He's remained positive. He's always trying to be a light for other people, as well as me in my dark times, and that's I admire that about you, friend. I admire that.
Thank you. And you know what I admire about you?
You gotta speak louder.
Oh, sorry.
What I admire about you is that you're a beacon of light to everybody that you meet. Anytime you walk into a room, everybody's Jenel. You've done so much for people. You have guided them through some of their worst points in their life. You've given such great information. I know what you've done for me personally, but just your willingness to be somebody that is supportive and somebody that is a helping hand to those who are in need. I think that is one thing that I really do love and I really do admire about you. And I'm glad that I'm with somebody that's just like that. You guys see what I'm doing?
right. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us, watching this Black Love live.
Yes, we hope you guys were able to take away some tips. Love is not perfect.
No,
Love is not. It's not an easy road, but it's worth it if you choose each other.
Yes, and it's a conscious effort every day. Every single day. You can't get tired of it. You know, the minute you get, I know that's easier said than done, but you can't get tired of it. You got to be willing to put in what you get out. So thank you, Deshawna, for having us.
We're literally so happy to be here. Thank you for giving us this platform.
Thank you
for allowing us to share with your audience.
Yes.
I hope you all took away a few key tips. And Corduroy says thank you as well.
He almost got Romeo in the mouth a second ago.
Yes, and if you're watching, make sure you subscribe. Deshawna is working very hard to tell you more.
Okay.
And to give you all the information that you need. Please subscribe to Tell Me More Consulting down at the bottom.
Thank you.
Yes, please follow her on Instagram. What's
TMM Consulting.
Yes, at TMM Consulting.
Yes, and my personal page is Deshawna.g.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.